And if you really want to manifest stuff in your life, you have to be open to the universe directing you to your success and to your next success and to your next success and to your next success. It's like walking down a corridor of open doors. And those open doors are your goals, your dreams, your desires of everything that you want in your life.
Hello, dear listeners. It's that time again when we stroll through the paths of ambition, desire, and success. Welcome to the Dare to Declare podcast, where we explore the enchanting world of giant manifestors who've turned their visions and goals into the stuff of legends. I couldn't help but wonder, how do some people create the lives they've always dreamed of? Is it the magic of manifesting, the power of perseverance, or perhaps just a dash of serendipity? Well, dear friends, grab your coffee cups because we're about to spill the tea on fascinating journeys of those who dare to dream big and make it happen. Join me as we sip on success stories and ponder the ever-enticing question, can we all manifest our dreams into reality, or is it just an urban fairy tale? I'm your host, Debbie Sluice, and I'm here to guide you through the labyrinth of achievement with heart and soul. Ready to dare to declare? Let's get started.
Hey everyone, I am so excited to introduce you to my friend Sandra Grace. In fact, when I first met her, I thought that was her full, like her first and middle name. And then I'm like, that is so amazing that is your last name. It's just like, sounds like a celebrity. So I am excited for you to meet her. She is the publisher of the WNC Women's Magazine O. And for the past 16 years, she has seen many changes through Western North Carolina, especially in Asheville and the immediate surrounding areas of her business communities. She partners with people to catalyze positive change in workplaces and communities. The simple practices that introduce leaders and teams to power and strengthen relationships, expand possibilities, and increase productivity through everyday conversations, visioning, and goal setting. These practices are grounded in neuroscience, positive psychology, and conversations worth having based in appreciative inquiry, one of the most widely used approaches for system change. Previously, she was the CEO of MasterTeam Inc., a premier recruiting and consulting firm, executive founding director of SVASE, which is Silicon Valley Association of Software Entrepreneurs. There, she launched over 300 successful software companies her first year as an organization in 1995, and is still one of the best resources in Silicon Valley. She's a perpetual learner. She has accumulated a bachelor's in theology and an MBA. She's certified as a Canfield trainer and has spent many hours of ongoing trainings in personal dynamics with Jack Canfield, Tony Robbins, and a graduate of the IFLP Forum Leaders Training through Landmark Education. In 2023, she founded a not-for-profit, which is called Who Gives This Child? It is to end child marriage and child sex trafficking. Welcome, Sandra.
Hey, thank you. And thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to ask some questions. We met for the first time back in Destin, Florida, last September, so not quite a year ago. And yet I feel like I got to know you really well during that week. And I think the feeling is mutual, would you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely love what you do. And I just think that it's such a gift that you're promoting this. I think it's amazing.
Thank you. So there are some real serious aspects to your work, which we ended off there on your bio, but I want to start off with some fun facts because when I met you, I physically had to pick my jaw up off the floor because of the stories that you were sharing, fun facts about your life. So can you just give a little insight to the listeners of some of the people that have been in your inner celeb circle? And like, don't be afraid to name drop because like it was so fun listening to you. I just kept looking over at the other women at the retreat going, is she for real? Is she for real?
Well, okay. So first off, let's talk about a big one. In so what can I say? I'm a little embarrassed. So when Tony Robbins does a UPW, he always talks about the woman who got him to stop biting his fingernails. And when Tony and I were very beginning loosely dating, he and I were out to dinner one night, and he asked me to move to San Diego, and I said, no, no, I'm not. No, I'm not interested in moving to San Diego, and I'm actually not interested in dating you anymore. At dinner, his fingers were bloody from where he had been biting his fingernails. And I said, "You don't even have the discipline to not bite your fingernails. What makes you think that you would have the discipline to be a good partner?" And I said, "No, there's no way I would move to San Diego." And I ended our relationship right there. But we have continued to be friends all of these years. It's been, God, over 30 years that we've been friends, and he's still a good friend of mine. Jack Canfield is a very good friend of mine. I mean, personal friend. Patty Aubrey, who is the president and CEO of the Canfield Training, is a personal girlfriend of mine. And, these are two people who have contributed such a magnitude of my life, of who I honestly feel like I am today, because of the breakthrough to success, because of the Canfield training, the methodology of training. I just feel like that they both really have inspired my work in a whole new direction.
You turned down Tony Robbins. Woohoo! There you go.
He is a too much brother for a too much sister. So, you know what? But let me say this, Tony Robbins is an amazing human being.
Mm,
And the work that he's done all these years and the amount of people that he's helped have just been ongoingly just, it's like what this man does in the world, he truly, truly changes lives and changes people. And let me tell you a little fun fact here is that Tony actually just scared the crap out of me, if you want to know the truth. It's like, I I really honestly didn't know what to do with all that energy. I was young. There was a lot going on in my life at the time, and I turned Tony down more because I had a great job in San Jose, and I just couldn't see the future of moving to San Diego at that time. But I've loved him all these years. He's been an amazing human and has been quite a force in my life. So let me say that with all honesty. It was
yeah.
it was me that was scared, not him.
You were talking about some very successful people, especially in the personal development. Oh, by the way, so it was really funny. I just reached out to Sandra a couple weeks ago because I'm just becoming certified. So she's already certified as a trainer within the Canfield group. And I'm watching the videos and I reached out to Sandra because I'm like, hey, I just saw you on the Train the Trainer video, which was recorded, I don't know how many years ago. And I'm like, I'm positive it's you. But was it?
Yeah.
It was a great training. It's really great. But I want to talk about a little bit more about you because, you've surrounded yourself with some amazing mentors and people that you now call friends, but you've had your own extraordinary business success. And that was the other piece I was picking my jaw up off the ground was when you just kept rattling off all these amazing things that you've accomplished. This whole podcast that I do here is to highlight manifestors and your life has been a beautiful expression of manifestation. Can you talk a bit about your business success?
Absolutely. Well, first off, in human design, and if you don't know about human design, I encourage anybody to reach out to a human design practitioner because it's amazing to understand. In human design, I am a manifesting generator. And I'm not going to go into a long explanation of what that is, but in 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 I think 1999, I sat down and wrote out a list of what I wanted for my life, and just wrote a list. And one of the things on that list was that I wanted to retire with $24 million in the bank, and I wish I'd known then what I know now because I would have said $24 million after taxes, because
Ah,
the taxes on $24 million is $7 million. So anyway, that was one of the things that I wanted, that I wrote, that I wanted, and I thought, okay, so I made it a goal. How would I actually manifest $24 million? So at the time I was working in Silicon Valley. I was the executive co-founding director of the Silicon Valley Association of Software Entrepreneurs, which gave me access to men like Larry Ellison, Scott McNeely, uh, um, Bill Gates, all these kind of people. And we invited all of these luminaries to the SVASE group because we literally were the only entrepreneurs group in Silicon Valley at the time. And in fact, we were invited to help build the Stanford Entrepreneurs Group at Stanford University because of the success that we were having within that group. What we did was we gave everybody these badges that had either a money sign, a light bulb, skills, like, we had tools, things like that on these badges. And then we always held a dinner prior to this event. Like, it was a buffet. You come in, you get your dinner, and you go and you sit at a table. And we encourage people to switch tables. And anyway, we had all these people coming. And at that group, I met a friend who, his name was Derek, and Derek had an idea, and he said, but I want to introduce you to my partner, James Way. So I took James and Derek and introduced them to my then husband, who was one of the world premier network architects for the internet. And we had the idea to build the first web TV. And in order to do that, my husband was already involved in a company that did compression technology, meaning that they take like packets of information, to compress them, send them through the internet, or send them through like a LAN or a WAN, which is a LAN, local area network or a wide area network. And we sent that out through that. Well, National Semiconductor partnered with us. They gave us $5 million to bootstrap web TV. But the problem is, and we knew this going in, as did National, knew that the project was way ahead of its time, like much ahead of its time. But the thing that came out of it is that we built the actual first compression technology semiconductor. And that semiconductor was the first semiconductor used in the new smartphones that we now use. So just developing that technology allowed us to like begin to revolutionize compression technology in a semiconductor in the industry. And Vitesse Semiconductor bought us out for $780 million. And of course, by the time you chop that all up between investors and everything else, we literally got to the penny $24 million.
Amazing.
So, let me tell you, a lot of people think that manifestation is all about sitting down and going, oh, I want to do this, and just sitting there. I actually read an interesting little calendar blurb, and it says, success doesn't come to you, you have to go to it. And if you really want to manifest stuff in your life, you have to be open to the universe directing you to your success and to your next success and to your next success and to your next success. It's like walking down a corridor of open doors. And those open doors are your goals, your dreams, your desires of everything that you want in your life. And the more willing you are to have clarity around everything in your life, the more those doors will open for you. But you have to be willing to listen when those doors are available. And the more open you are to just being open and understanding your own methodology of, like, as a manifesting generator and as in human design, one of the things that I really need to trust is my intuition and my gut. When my gut tells me to do something or says something about me, I listen very carefully, because I know that that means that one of those doors is unlocked and it's willing to open. So after I left California, we sold our home and sold our businesses in California. We left, and we moved to, at that time, Marshall, North Carolina, which was out in Madison County. We bought 168 acres, and my husband did not like the country. He wanted to move to Florida. I said, you move to Florida, I'm staying here. And I built the first farm to table restaurant, or first farm to table farm serving restaurants in Asheville, North Carolina. It was called Garnet Mountain Farm.
Wow.
And that got to be way too much work, more work than I wanted to do. But at the same time, I had made the decision that I wanted to start a women's magazine in Western North Carolina. And the name of the magazine was WNC Woman. And we started WNC Woman, and it was the most popular magazine in Asheville for 16 years. We closed the magazine in 2019. I'll tell you why in just a minute. But toward the end of that, I decided that I wanted to offer other places opportunities to have their own women's magazine. And we had a very successful formula. And so we were getting ready to start not licensing, but creating distributorships so that women could have their own magazine in their areas. And one day, my editor, my executive editor, came to me and said, "Sandra, my husband has just been diagnosed with advanced ALS." And little did we know that Sam would only have about 3 months at that point to live.
Mhm.
But I really sat down and I thought about this, and I thought, I wouldn't want to do this. I wouldn't want to do any of this without her, because she was the heart of the magazine. As a business person, I can say, oh, yes, well, I had a very successful magazine, but that wasn't true. The magazine was successful because of her. And she really was the heart and soul of that magazine. And I also knew that Sam was close to the end of his life, and that Sandy they'd been married something like 50 years. And I knew that she was going to be going through a tremendous amount of grief. And I had been looking for an editor for 3 years to come in and work underneath her, but we never could find anybody that had the background or that was as good as she was. I mean, that's something about living in a small town. Sometimes you have very limited opportunities as far as people go. And
Right.
so I made the decision to close the magazine. And
Mm.
I have to tell you, that was gut wrenching.
I bet. I bet.
Gut wrenching. But
Yeah. So, and I know that you know this work too, is that when something is closed, like you talked about all those doors being open in that corridor, when a door closes, it's because another one is opening for you.
right. And that's when I've been toying with the idea of writing a book about my life. And my mother sold me when I was 14 years old to a friend of my uncle's. And I tell you what, the book will be ready by the end of 2025, or actually, hopefully by the end of 2024, but probably more 2025. So I'm going to challenge anybody who listens to this to please go to the website, www.whogivesthischild.org, and read what we do, because what we're doing is we're ending child marriage and child sex trafficking in America. And, a lot of people go, well, what about the world? I go, well, what about the world? Right now, my only focus is to stop it in the United States. Because if we can stop it in the United States, we're such a strong country. I believe that we'll be able to have inroads into other countries about, child marriage reform and child sex trafficking reform. But this is a very little known fact, is that the United States is actually the biggest purveyor of child sex trafficking in the world. In the world. Now, just let that sink in for a minute. It happens more here than anywhere else in the world. And people go, "No, that's not true." Yes, it is true. And, now there are organizations out there other than just my organization. Right now, Who Gives This Child is on hiatus until the beginning of September or October. I've just made a very huge life transition to move to Florida. And so everything is just kind of on hold until I get reestablished here, which is September, October, and then I'll be back at work. And we'll be open to raising money again very, very soon. If you're interested in contributing to Who Gives This Child, please reach out to me at sandragrace.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions for you. I'm happy to direct you to organizations right now that are fully engaged. Unchained is a really good one. Hillary Clinton has been working with him, Hillary Clinton and her daughter, and Hillary has used a lot of her resources and influence to actually challenge governors and things like that to change the laws. They'll call it the 18 law, to actually change the laws in their states, um, disallowing any person to be married under the age of 18. So there are now, I think, 11 states that are currently that have the 18 law. You have to be 18 to get married in those states, no exceptions. And a lot of people don't understand that there are states where it's 16, or that it's 18, but you can get married under the consent of a parent. Parents are the biggest purveyors of child marriage. They think that if a girl gets pregnant when she's 16, the answer is to get married. That's not true. That is probably one of the worst remedies for pregnancy for any young person, because then it's destroying three lives: the life of the girl, the life of the boy, and the life of the child. And has it worked out? In some cases it has, but I guarantee you, if you watch the long-term effects of any child marriage, of a child being forced to be married at age 16 because of pregnancy, I can tell you that those lives have not been all, you know, roses, that there's been a
Right.
lot of issues and problems. And one of the bigger problems being is that young girls who deliver babies at an early age suffer tremendous, like long-term gynecological problems, psychological problems. I mean, there's a lot of issues other than just the problems of child marriage. There
Right.
are body implications attached to all of that as well.
Right. Yeah, and you really have an extraordinary story, heart-wrenching story yourself, and I know that fuels your passion and your purpose
Really.
for taking this on. And so I would highly recommend to get your book. I'm going to definitely get that book. I think everyone that weekend that we had in the retreat, or that week that we had there, we all said, Sandra Grace, you have to write your book because your story is just amazing. Um, Very, like I said, heart-wrenching. I was one of those people that said to you, "No, that can't be. What? Western culture that we are allowing children to be married with parent consent, right?" And I couldn't believe it. And then I actually was watching a TV show. I think I reached out to you and told you that it
Yeah.
was like a Law and Order kind of show or whatever, and it was showing it, and I said to my husband, "This is what Sandra was talking about. Like, it's flying under the radar. People in United States." And so I don't know what the laws are in Canada, but even 18, it seems so young, and to be making those kind of decisions. But thank you for all that you do for children. Thank
Thank
you for taking your pain and turning it into your purpose.
Yeah. And I have a program that I actually teach called You Own Your Today. And it's all about, if you really want your life to be successful, if you really want to lead a life of resilience, if you really want to improve your life, it's learning how to live each day of your life. And that's why when you own your today, anything is possible.
Right.
Yeah.
So I also wanted to talk a little bit about a mutual friend that we have.
Ah,
And we met her at the retreat, Debbie Wilcox, and we met her in September. And
yeah.
I brought Debbie to the retreat because she was a colleague of mine here from Ontario, Canada. I'd only met her actually even a few months prior to that. And I told her about this retreat that Patty Aubrey, that you talked about earlier, was having. And the two of you hit it off. Like, to say that is kind of an understatement, isn't it? Like, you were like soul sisters, and that happens oftentimes at retreats, but I think you really had a special bond. Do you wanna talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, I'd love to. Debbie had recently retired from her government job in Canada, and she really had a very, very prestigious job that involved a lot of integrity and just her I mean, and now she was walking into her retirement life, and she had written a book, and she had all of these dreams. But one of the things that she kept saying the entire week that we were together was, well, when this happens or when that happens, I'm going to live this life that I love. I'm going to be going out to lunch and playing golf and taking long walks, and I none of us knew that she was sick even then. And we all came back from the retreat, and like, I guess it's just been a couple of months at this point. Debbie went into the hospital, and she died very suddenly. I mean, like, she didn't know she had cancer. She didn't know that that she was sick. I mean, she didn't feel good, and she kept saying, "When I feel better," that week we were together, "When I feel a little better, when I get this weight off." I kept saying, "Debbie, you can't put your life on hold." And that was something that you really brought to mind, was when we were doing our vision boards at the retreat, was that, I mean, for me, I was like, I can't put this off anymore. I cannot put off what my mission from God is. I can't put off what my mission in life is. I was in a horrible marriage. I was just always everything on hold, just waiting for things to get better. And when I learned that Debbie died, and in fact, you actually posted in our group that Debbie had died, and I think we all took a deep breath that day, and it was very evident. I don't care who you are, if you're listening to this right now, please understand that tomorrow never comes, that there is no tomorrow. There is literally only today, and that none of us are promised tomorrow. And get your goals and your dreams out. Get them on your vision board. I beg you, call Debbie, book a session about creating a vision board, because now is the time for you to live. Today is the time for you to live your life. And I think that the impact of our friend Debbie's death was so significant, because it is such a wow, hang on. That had such an impact on me to understand. And I teach today all the time, today, today, today. But you know what? When you look at a Facebook post, and your friends are posting that one of your friends has just died, when you realize that when your mother dies, or your father dies, or your brother, or a friend, or even, I challenge you, take a look at the obituaries, because not one of those people knew that they were going to die the day they did. And we never know. And I'm telling you that if you're not living your goals, your dreams, your life today, then you're not alive. And what you're doing is you're dreaming. You're not living. You're just living on hope and prayer, because that's all that's available to you, unless you're truly living those dreams. And if you don't have your dreams in front of you, looking at them every day, encouraging you today to take that next step, to really walk into that life that you say you want and love, then shame on you. Shame on you. Because when you lose a friend as precious as Debbie Wilcox, I'm telling you, you've lost something significant. So don't put off living your life today, because you deserve to be living your life, the life you love, the life you want today.
Sandra,
So
so well said. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know that she's smiling down on both of us right now. And I think that is one of the most beautiful testimonies that you can give for the life that she led, but also what she left undone.
yeah.
And so we only have today, as you said,
Yes.
and, you know, putting all of the things aside, like what will people think? What will people say? Uh, Phony baloney. Go for it.
I've been married 10 times, so I'll give you a little preview of life here. I've been married 10 times, and I literally just walked away from my 10th marriage, because it was terrible. It was awful. This guy was a narcissist. And, when you live with a narcissist, they just suck you dry. And those are not my words. Those are the words of the therapist that I'm working with, that to help me kind of get back on track with everything. I mean, it was like, um, And I just said, you know what? When Debbie died, I just said, that's it. I'm not putting my life on hold anymore for anything. I'm going for the life I love. And if I can't have the life I love, then I'm not interested.
Now, if you can see Sandra, like if you can see her here, this lady looks 20 years her junior, like from what she is. Like I was shocked to discover her age, just her vitality and her looks. But I just think it's so brave of you to not just leave the relationship. That in itself is huge, but that you've moved. Because you, like, I remember us talking about this, and you're like, I don't know, I love looking out the windows and seeing, I think it was the mountains, or,
Yeah.
like
Look
you're
in the
like,
mountains.
I don't think I'll ever leave there. And here you are, and you're in Florida. Like,
Yeah.
well done, you. Like, that takes something. So tell me a bit about what does that take to make that kind of decision? And I know Debbie's death has definitely been some of the catalyst around that, but give yourself some credit. Like, what does that take in order to move from being where you are to where you want to go?
So first off, I want to quantify something. I am 70 years old. I turned 70 in March. So that was like I had said that I was going to make a decision on my birthday, but I actually made my decision about 2 weeks, about three almost 3 weeks before. And you know, I I'm not a person who lives in fear because I live today. It's like I have goals for the future. I have goals for a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever. I have short-term goals and long-term goals. But my one biggest goal is to live today. And my quantifiers for today is, am I happy? Am I contributing? Am I a gift in someone else's life today? Am I contributing to society at the highest level I can? And am I the happiest, best person I can be?
Mhm.
And if I meet those every day in my day, and don't get me wrong, I don't have a rigid schedule. I have a cute little scruffy dog. We get up every morning and we have our cup of coffee and then we go for our walk and then we talk about what we're going to do for the day because right now he's my partner. And it I think that it's the first time that I've ever had to say that I took a deep breath of courage and said, the reason I'm moving to Florida is one, my best friends live here. I love them. I knew that they would support me unconditionally, that they would love me unconditionally, whether I was married or not married or whatever, it didn't matter. And that they were here for me and that they said, we're here for you. We've got a house you can live in. You can buy this house if you want to, or rent it, or whatever you want. Like we're just here to support you.
Wow.
And for the first 6 months, we just want you to not worry about where you're going to live, what it's going to cost you. We're going to give you this house. We're going to pay your utilities for 6 months because we really want you to make a successful transition. So we're here for you. Now, I had written down that if I was going to move, I had to have I had to have no expenses for 6 months because when you're getting divorced, there's a lot of a lot of stuff you have to pay for.
Okay, you can say that word here.
There's a lot of shit you gotta pay for, and
Yeah.
divorce is expensive, and it costs a lot. And so I wrote, "Okay, in order to make this move, or in order to leave Mike, this is what I've gotta have. I need to have at least 6 months of my full income to pay bills, to pay credit cards, to pay attorneys, to sell the house, to do all of this stuff." So that was number 1. I said number 2 is I need to live somewhere where I can actually build a new life. And, I really didn't wanna stay in Asheville. I'd been there 24 years. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the mountains, and I could hike there forever. I just went back for 4 days and did a bunch of hiking and hung out with girlfriends, but I said, I really want a new audience, and I want an audience that is more diverse and ready to hear my message. And so when John and Sue's offered me this house, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm in the Tampa suburbs. Tampa's right here, St. Pete, Clearwater. I mean, it's like I'm exposed to a population here of millions of people, where up there it was like 100,000. I knew everybody from the magazine, from being a speaker there, from being trained, doing trainings there. I knew everybody. I don't know anybody here, so I'm starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So that was the second thing, was like, check, answered, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, all right, so for this house, it's got to have a yard. It's got to have a fenced in yard, blah, blah, blah. So I'm in a 2 bedroom, 2 bath house. It's got a beautiful fenced in yard. So my dog can go out and play all day in the backyard if he wants to. It's kind of hot though. I have to say I'm having a little trouble navigating the heat. I just met one of the top women um, uh, in Dunedin, Florida, she's connected to every source I need in this area, like the community foundation, everything I need to build and to establish the the organization here, Who Gives This Child, because she knows everybody on the planet here. I've already started having lunch with women and meeting new women. I'm already being invited to speak at places and stuff like that, because my income goal was $10,000 a month. Now, Debbie, I haven't been working, and I have still made $10,000 a month every month. So
You are the manifester. Yeah.
April, May, and June. June, I've already made $10,000.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So living your today, and
Yeah.
some of this is residual income and stuff, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, it's like that was my goal, to make
Yeah.
$10,000 a month.
So we have a few minutes left. I want to ask a twofold question. Uh, what's next? It sounds like firing back up the not-for-profit. Who Gives This Child? Sounds like that's really your focus. But what's next? And then what's on your vision board?
So that's funny you should ask. So currently, what's next is absolutely getting Who Gives This Child up and going. One of the projects that I'm working on is securing a motorhome, and having the company not only give me the motorhome, but pay for it to be wrapped. A gas company to offer paying for all the gas. And we're going to go out and start spreading the word across the United States. There'll be this big sticker on this bus that says, Who Gives This Child? And what we'll be setting up is speaking in every city, in certain cities that are currently not on the 18 law, but also we'll be giving back 50% of whatever we raise in that community to the organizations there that are supporting this endeavor, meaning like community foundations, domestic violence groups, things like that. So pretty soon I'll put out the job descriptions to hire people for the jobs that are be paid, and then the volunteers and stuff like that. The other thing is to continue do trainings like You Own Your Today in high schools, and I'm writing a book right now that will be aimed at junior high, and I don't know, I'm working with some teachers about the elementary part of this, but for just educating kids on what grooming is and stuff like that, to so that they'll know when predators are approaching them. So this is another very not unknown fact. Did you know that a child predator can contact your child on the internet and within 14 seconds gain their trust enough to get them to walk out the front of your house?
I did
And
not
that
know
is
those
a fact.
stats. That is extremely frightening.
Yeah. And one of the groups that I've partnered with in the past is called the Lantern Project, and some of the facts that I use come from them. But they're an amazing group of people, and they actually have homes where they go out and rescue children that have been trafficked, and they rescue these kids and bring them in for psychologically reconstruction, and I don't know how to reprogramming and stuff like
Yeah.
that, to get them out of that life.
Right.
So, and then there's an incredible resource in the state of Tennessee. It's a company called Thistle Farms, and it was started by an Episcopal priest. And this woman actually has a farm where women can leave the sex trades and go there and be there. I think their program is 2 years and actually go through rehabilitation. They teach them job skills and everything else. And you can buy their products in Whole Foods markets. And you can go to Thistle Farms. I believe it's thistlefarms.com or .org, and you can buy directly from them. But this organization has the largest social enterprise in the world.
Sandra, you are such a force, and I am so blessed to know you and so grateful that our paths have crossed. And I know that we'll be doing work together. I'm just going to put that out there,
Yes,
dare to
we are.
declare it. And I love your vision. I adore you. And I'm so grateful that you came and shared a little bit of your story today. And I'm excited for your book to come out. And yeah, everyone go to say your website again where they can go to find out more.
Okay, so if you want to donate toward Who Gives This Child, please contact me directly. We're in the process of setting up an organization here in Florida that will be handling all of our money. I like to work with the Community Foundation because it opens other areas to us, and they do all the bookkeeping and all of that, and that way I don't have the administrative expense of it actually cuts down our expense to like 2 or 3% instead of 11 to 15%. So I like working with the Community Foundation for that. So we're currently working to set that up. So contact me directly. We'll tell you how to get involved with us. And that you just go to Sandra@sandragrace.com. And if you want to look at the organization online, it's www.whogivesthischild.org. And please do not donate on those links right now because they're currently not available because we've moved from North Carolina to Florida.
Awesome. Any last words?
Yeah, and you wanted to know what was on my vision board.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
So I'm in the process of creating brand new vision boards, and so you and I are going to have a conversation, but when we get off here. But the one thing I do have on my vision board right now is that we actually get people who will donate this RV that we're talking about, that will get the wrap, that will actually get the funds. There's a very well-known gas company that we've approached, and we've been in conversations with them for a couple of months now, and we're 94% to a yes.
Right.
So anything can happen in the last 6%, but that's where
Sure.
we are. And one of the other things that's on my vision board for quite a while is to lose weight. And I'm currently down from 250 pounds to 180 pounds.
Holy
So
moly. No wonder you look so amazing. I mean,
yeah,
she came in there and I was like, I thought it was your hair, but no, that's
the
why.
long hair makes me
Oh,
look thin.
good for
But
you.
thank
Well done.
So I have a fitness vision board, and I had to laugh because I cut this picture out of a magazine and put it up there that I was looking for this man trainer who trains octogenarian women. And I was at the vitamin shop, and this
What
guy,
kind of women? What kind of women?
older women, older
Oh,
women. And
oh,
this guy, his specialty at the vitamin shop, he's the general manager of this vitamin shop, and he trains older women. That is his specialty because we're special and we need special exercises. So, young girls like you can tighten up that tush or flatten that tummy like
not like I used to. No way, Jose.
try
It's
doing it
gotten
when
a
you're
lot harder. I used to just think about it and the weight would fall off. Now no, not so
yeah.
much, but
Some of the things on my new vision boards.
amazing. And from everything that you shared here, I know that they will come to pass. And I, hope that we're part of that funnel back to you.
You
So that anyone that's listening that wants to get involved with what you're doing would reach out. So again, thank you so much, Sandra. Thanks for talking about our friend Debbie. I know, again, this was, I'm sure she was listening and smiling down on both of us. And your message was so powerful. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you, and thank you so much for having me.
Today, we've delved into the realm of manifesting giants, exploring the power of declaring our desires to the universe with unapologetic boldness. But before we bid adieu, I have a little something special to share with all of you dreamers out there.
Introducing the Dare to Declare Vision Board magazine and online DIY Vision Board course, your ticket to manifesting greatness in style. Picture this: flipping through pages filled with inspiring images, empowering quotes, and step-by-step guides to help you create the vision board of your dreams. Whether you're yearning for that spacious condo with a view or a love that sets your soul on fire, our magazine is here to guide you every step of the way. Dive deep into the art of manifesting with our exclusive online DIY vision board course. Led by manifesting expert, yes, yours truly, and seasoned dreamers, this course will teach you the ins and outs of creating a vision board that speaks to your heart and soul. So what are you waiting for? Join the ranks of the manifesting giants and dare to declare your wildest dreams to the universe. Head over to our website, debbiesluice.com, and grab your copy of the Dare to Declare Vision Board magazine and enroll in our online DIY Vision Board course today. Until next time, keep dreaming big and daring to declare, because in the world of manifesting, the sky's the limit.